live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Saile, and today we have a lot to cover on today's episode. As you can see by my shirt and pretend cape, Superman came to save the day last night. He prevailed the New England Patriots to make the playoffs, down 11 points in the fourth quarter. We had thrillers from divisional rivalries of Seahawks, Rams on Thursday night. That was a great classic on Thursday night. Packers, Bears on Saturday. That was crazy as well. And a whole lot of other games on Sunday as well, including tonight. Tonight's Niners Colts. Do expect the Niners to win, as I mentioned last Thursday, but we have a lot to get into. And for those of you that don't know why I'm wearing the Santa hat, it's holiday theme, man. I mean, Christmas is right around the corner. I have not worn a Santa hat on Lounge Time in 2 years. So I figured, you know what? We got to bring this tradition back. It's been a while since the very first year that I had made Lounge Time on YouTube, but figured why not bring it back, man? So we have a lot to cover. Also, we have college football playoff quick breakdowns on A&M Miami and Alabama Oklahoma. The other two games went exactly as we all thought. Oregon destroyed JMU and Ole Miss destroyed Tulane. Shocker? No, not really. But without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So we're going to start off with the game that started it off, and that's going to be the Rams-Seahawks on Thursday night, which I did watch this full game. Even though I had an event to cover, I still caught up right to the last snap of the game. And this was an all-timer on Thursday night. This was absolutely a phenomenal game. And honestly, it kind of flipped the way the first meeting went. And I say that because Seattle's defense made Matt Stafford have one of his worst games the first meeting. But yet in a loss, Matt Stafford throws for 457 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. And yet is 1 2-point conversion away from winning. Just Seattle made the 2-point play. But let's give credit to Seattle first, because Sam Darnold, that is the example of what I'm talking about when you have to step up and go win a game. Now, he had the one bad pick six. Cooper Kupp had the one fumble going in before half that absolutely threw the whole game in kind of a bad spin for them early, right? And Darnold had the pick six in the third quarter that kind of flipped that game LA's way. And then Sam Darnold, when Seattle needed to make plays, he did it. Rashid Shaheed, special teams flipped the entire game on its head. That touchdown by Shaheed on the punt return flipped the whole flow of that game because it was going LA one-sided. They were looking really good. They just picked off Darnold in the red zone. And I'm thinking LA's going to win the game at that point. And what does Seattle's defense do? They get some stops. And they get Shaheed a punt return. And then that's when Sam Darnold just went absolutely crazy. And I think this was one of the very few games we saw Sam Darnold play at his absolute best. And that's exactly what we saw in that fourth quarter, in that overtime, because, and statistically it doesn't show it 270 yards, 22 of 34. He did take 4 sacks. Kenneth Walker finally had a game where everybody was like, are they using him? Well, they used him in that first half where he had a long run. He got going. They had the screen pass early in the game where they got him going. So Kenneth Walker, welcome back. I mean, we were wondering if you were permanently not going to be used anymore because they loved using Zach Charbonnet. Smith and Jigba, we know what he's going to do. 6 for 96 and a touchdown. A.J. Barner had the touchdown. I believe it was... I want to say, don't hold on, guys. There's been a lot of games, so I might be a little wrong on this. Let me double check. I think he had the touchdown to force overtime. Let's see if my math is right. I believe he had the touchdown to force overtime. Let's see if I'm right according to the play-by-play thing. Let's see. And I'm sorry if I'm wrong, guys. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Oh, actually, hold on. Now my computer's frozen. Let's see. Did he have the touchdown to force overtime? It was the second play. Yes, it was. It was the touchdown that was the 6, and then they got the 2-point try. So it was basically the touchdown that forced overtime. Okay, I thought I was wrong for a second. All right. JSN had the game winner because that was the short pass, and then that's when Darnold does that little return route play for the 2-point conversion on the win. That was so big because that play alone, you could argue, is the difference from the LA Rams wrapping up Matt Stafford's MVP case right then and there, getting the 1 seed, but instead, Seattle, which their defense didn't play their best game. I don't think Seattle's defense is that bad off this one game. This was an outlier where their defense did not play well as far as getting stops and stuff like that. But their special teams stepped up. Their offense, they finally had a balanced game. Their running game, their pass game really had a good balance. And Seattle, this is a good start. Don't expect that Seattle defense to be that bad like they were Thursday night. It doesn't happen like this often. This team is, in my mind, because now that they're the 1 seed, this makes the road through the NFC, it's going through Seattle. I'm not sold on Philly. I know Chicago, we're going to get to in a moment. They look good right now, but something is just, I can't wrap my mind around it, but something just doesn't feel off. The one team, though, I do believe that can beat Seattle in the NFC happens to also be in their division, and it is the Rams. Because we saw a team that, why they are, to me, the Vegas favorite to win the Super Bowl in my mind. That offense with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams when he's healthy, Kyron Williams running the football, this is the exact reason why. Imagine they had Devontae Adams in this game. But the fact that they lost in Seattle by 1 point without Devontae Adams tells me the Rams are going to be just fine. They'll be okay, 11-4. They'll get a wild card. I think they'll beat Carolina. But then again, Carolina beat them a few weeks ago in Carolina. So we don't know. We're not entirely sure, but I feel like best A game, Bryce Young's first playoff debut. I don't see Bryce Young taking down Sean McVay and the Rams. I don't see it. This game, love the call from Mike McDonald on the 2-point try to go for the win. Love it. And if it didn't work, I would not have given him that much crap for it. Because I love guys going for the win instead of playing for the fucking tie. A la Matt LaFleur from Week 4, Cowboys-Packers. Go look up that episode because that was absolute wimp move. I'm trying not to curse today because it is the holidays coming up. And I hope you guys all have a great holiday yourself. But I want to help you guys get into the episode. But that's why I'm kind of trying to make this quick a little bit today. But in a nutshell, both teams I thought played really well. But Seattle being down 16, this was a big game for them. Because now they're in the driver's seat for home field advantage going through Seattle. That defense will play much better than it did on Thursday night. This was the biggest win for them this season. And all they now have to do is win out, and they get the number 1 seed. Big game ahead in 2 weeks with the Niners, which we will talk about next week. And that'll be next Friday when we break down the Week 18 games, okay? Preview-wise, picks and all that stuff, okay? Today's a jam-packed episode, so I'm trying to make these recaps a little bit quick. But shout out. I got to give this guy a shout out because he's just been recently commenting on my videos. And I know that he may be a subscriber, and I don't know if he is exactly. Shout out to Animal Wing. I know he's a Seahawks fan. Big win. Big win. Congrats on the big win. And thank you for giving love to the channel. And welcome to the Lounge Time family. Shout out to Animal Wing for commenting on the latest bunch of Lounge Time videos. Seen him lately, commenting on the videos. I've always given him a reply. Thumbs up. Thank you so much, man. All right. Let's go into Packers-Bears. Because this game, this was a very interesting spin. And the most exciting ending probably, it's up there. It might be the most exciting ending of the season. It might be. Jordan Love, he took a hit. That was, oof. You haven't seen that since the big boy days. And I'm talking the 70s, 80s era where you could hit people like that. And he kind of ducked his head, and I know the defender was trying to kind of hit him up by the chest area, but he couldn't do it because helmets collided, and you know they're going to give you roughing the passer there. But Jordan Love took a shot, huge hit, and when Malik Willis came in, I'm like, I don't know about this. And then he had that throw up the left side to Romeo Doubs, and I think it was on an out-and-out play where he really cooked. It was either, I think it was an out-and-up, no, it might have been a wheel route. One of the two routes. He hit Romeo Doubs up the left sideline, and I'm like, okay, Malik Willis, okay, like, you're showing why you're a really good quality backup. And people forget, he was a solid quarterback in Tennessee with Vrabel under the Titans, and then I don't know what happened exactly over there, but now he's in Green Bay, and I think him as a young quarterback, he's learning. He might earn himself a little money as a backup quarterback that will be good. And honestly, if you need a backup quarterback, he's a guy I'm looking at after that game going, he's not bad. He's not bad. But 121 yards, only threw the ball 11 times, but he completed 9 passes, had a touchdown, so he did good. Josh Jacobs, their run game, did okay. Nothing crazy between Willis's legs and Emmanuel Wilson getting more of the carries. Jacobs didn't really do well, but the Packers, they tried to get their running game going, and at times it did pretty good. But Chicago had pretty much an answer for Jacobs in the running game, and they said, all right, Malik Willis, we're going to let you beat us. And he had some plays where it was very close. But that Bears defense made some plays, and give those guys credit. But I think Green Bay really missed Micah Parsons' absence because they really couldn't get pressure on Caleb Williams all night. 0 sacks for that pass rush, and you could see Micah's absence. It was noticeable. Let's go to Chicago for a minute, because Caleb Williams, early in the year, for those real loyal Lounge Time fans that have been watching since the start of the year, I have given Caleb Williams heat. But I wasn't giving him entirely the heat. I was worried about the way that this team looked through the first 2 games. And one of my biggest things was who was actually like teaching him how to play better. Because the first 2 weeks, he was not playing good. He looked like he was heading towards bust level territory. And now, looking at these last 13 games, since the Cowboys game in week 3 of this season, you guys want to know what their record is? How about 11-2 over that stretch? 11-2. And Caleb Williams has had some games where he's gone off. It's been in moments, but it's been also their running game that's been a big part. That's why I said the reason the Bears have been winning is because of their running game. Kyle Monangai, DeAndre Swift, those guys, when they can run the ball like they can, that can set up play action, Colson Loveland, they can get DJ Moore over the middle, they can get guys like Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, when they're back healthy, they can get them on the outside, some opportunities, okay? They can even get guys like Jahdae Walker, who on that fourth down, call me crazy, I could have seen a moment where almost 45 years later, that felt like the catch 2.0. Do you know how close he was to being on that white line out of bounds? I swear I was looking at the catch 2.0 where I'm like, holy smokes. Because it felt like the same exact route. It felt like the same exact spot. The only difference was he didn't leap over a defensive back. He was just open. And Caleb Williams put that ball perfectly where I was like, wow. On the right, like he is rolling out right. And pressure is closing in. And he gets that ball high up and outside. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to overhit him. Nope. Threw that ball exactly where he needed to go. And that's the little plays of talent Caleb Williams has shown as to why he was the number 1 pick in last year's draft. That's the little bit of moments. But the thing with him is, can he beat the elite defenses? He had good games against Green Bay for the most part. He had a couple mistakes. But this game, against a really good defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, he did a very good job when he had to make plays in that game to win. The fact that they scored 10 points in the last, I want to say, let's go with the last 2 minutes of the game. That onside kick, I was like, holy shit, this is huge. That play doesn't happen without that onside kick. That onside kick, the fact that they got that, and again, I'm going back to NFL history here. It felt like Brandon Bostic a little bit, but like he tried to cradle it low and it kind of slipped out of the side of his arm. And I was like, oh man, that's tough. So it was kind of like Brandon Bostic when I think it was his Dobbs that botched the onside kick. I don't remember. I think it might have been Dobbs. But it was Brandon Bostic all over again. So I'm like, oh my God, Packers are up. They just gave up a field goal. Onside kick. They got to get it, and it slips off the receiver's hands, and I'm like, this is 2014 NFC Championship all over again. And then Caleb Williams scores. I'm like, oh my God, this is 2014 NFC Championship 11 years later, except it's a regular season game now. And then obviously they got stopped in overtime, and then that throw to DJ Moore. Wow. I mean, way to call game in your own house, clinch your playoff spot because of obviously somebody losing. But the fact that game basically has you one step closer to winning the NFC North in Ben Johnson's first year and Caleb Williams' year 2. This is why the NFL is great. First, last to first, there's always a couple teams. This year it's New England likely in the AFC East. Chicago in the NFC North. Look at Carolina. In the basement in the NFC. They're 1 game away from winning the NFC South. All right? I mean, even the Niners, who are going to be first, but they have a shot to go from last to first if they win out. Which, I know my Seattle guy doesn't want to hear this, but it's true. They have a chance to do it. So, and then you see teams go from... There's usually one team that goes from first to last. I don't think it's going to be this year. No, actually, no, it's not actually. No, I forgot they were second last year. I almost had the Vikings, but they weren't first. They were second. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head real quick. But Jacksonville too. But they were third, not last. Yeah. Because Tennessee was 1. They took Cam Ward. Right. So, yeah, you love to see these young upstart teams have some really good years. And I think it's crazy now, to step back a little bit. The AFC, I mentioned weeks ago, changing of the guard, where Baltimore, Chiefs, Bengals, out. They're out. Buffalo has all the pressure in the world to win a Super Bowl because everything's going their way, and now they just got to go do it. But you're seeing new teams, New England, Jacksonville, Denver, okay? You're seeing teams like those teams, young, haven't been great the last couple of years. Now they're ascending. NFC, you got Chicago. You've got, and Seattle's been competitive the last couple of years, but, so I don't want to say them. They've been competitive. They just haven't got to the point where they can go this far. So I don't want to say them. Chicago's up there. Carolina has a chance to win the South. I mean, Tampa's now kind of going downhill the wrong way. We'll get to that briefly in a little bit. Lions, down year for them. So it's always good to see the young upstarts do well. And I think Chicago, this was a game they needed. Now, you're probably asking, Rich, I know you haven't been high on this team. Are they contenders in the NFC? I'm still going to hang on this claim. Not yet. I think they showed a good sign that when they're home, they can play well. I still can't wrap my mind around it. Can't wrap my hand around it. Something doesn't feel like Chicago is like a top-level contender. I think it's Seattle. I think it's the Rams. I'm going to see a little bit of Frisco next Sunday night a little bit. Maybe I'll watch the game on my phone a little bit tonight. I'll see, because I kind of want to do something else tonight a little bit as far as like talking with my friends and stuff like that. So I still think it's Seattle and the Rams. I would have put Green Bay there if Parsons was healthy, but he's not. But they're really close. Eagles, I don't trust their offense. Even though they beat the Commanders without Jaden Daniels, no, I don't trust them yet. So I'm going to say right now, they're getting close. It could be a second-round team. I don't think they could be an NFC Championship contending team. I don't see it. But then again, Seattle and the Rams could meet in the divisional round, which one of them goes out, which who knows how the bracket will end up shaping in 2 weeks from now when we talk about the final bracket. But give credit to Caleb Williams, give credit to Ben Johnson. They made some really good calls. That defense of the Bears, they got 2 sacks and 1 game away from winning the NFC North. Can they pull it off? Who knows? It's, in all likelihood, still a possibility. They have to win one of their next 2 games in order to do that. So we shall see how that unfolds. Now, let's go to Sunday's action, yesterday's action, briefly. Bucs Panthers. I mentioned that I like Carolina, and Ted McMillan now is the front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year, according to DraftKings. Bryce Young did a really, really good job. Didn't light up the stat sheet, but he did a good job. Baker Mayfield, Tampa, they did not do enough, and I feel like, you know what? They're not making the playoffs. They're not. This is a bad fall off. Todd Bowles is now getting heat. Is he going to lose his job? It's kind of hard when you're 6-2 and now you're just on the verge of being out, and now you're 7-8 where you just collapsed. Somebody's got to take accountability for it. Carolina, though, 1 win away from winning the NFC South, and this team, who expected them to win the South? I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't. I thought they were a year away. They've proven me wrong so far. And Bryce Young, in a big year where they need to know if he's the franchise guy, this could be a step for him getting that 5th-year option. All right, now let's go to a game I actually watched really closely. Jaguars and Denver. Now, I didn't talk about Jacksonville last week because I didn't want to overreact with the Jets, because I was like, oh, it's the Jets. The Jets are not that great. I thought they would lose in Denver, and I'll tell you right now, boy, was I proven wrong. Trevor Lawrence finally looks like the guy that was the number 1 pick in his class. Finally, it took him, I want to say, are we, year 5 now with him? Year 5. And that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Now, he did get his big contract. So, of course, early in the year, there was a little bit of, well, is he a bust because he hasn't produced statistically? It was early to the middle half of the season where we were like, I don't know. I don't know if he's it. And I remember the Texans game. That kind of flipped the Texans season around with that win, with Davis Mills as the backup and Trevor Lawrence. They were kind of heading down towards, we might be fighting for a wild card. All of a sudden, they are rolling right now. Holy smokes. Wow. He is one of the hottest quarterbacks in football right now. Touchdown interception ratio, great. Throwing it really well. he is playing on a different level. I was watching some of the throws that he made in this game yesterday against a top defense that is going to lead the league in sacks by a pretty favorable margin. He's making some throws on that defense where I was like, wow. This is as good as any quarterback that I've seen against that defense. In Mile High, a tough place to win, by the way. That's likely going to be the number 1 seed. Unless the Chargers lose. Or Chargers make them lose in Denver, which would be great. It's 10 years ago. I'll get to that later. But Trevor Lawrence, it is time to give you your flowers. You are playing lights out. And finally, I don't look like shit for saying this guy was, in my mind, the best quarterback prospect that I have ever seen that can do it all. And for those of you that don't quite remember, first year of Lounge Time, I kind of had this mostly to my immediate family and friends. And I said, I even want to say it was the first year I went public with YouTube too, where I said he had the arm, he had the accuracy, he had the size, he had the clutching, he can run at his size, 6'5", 6'6", where I was like, man, we have never seen anything like this. And the way he was able just to torch Nick Saban's defense in 2017. He went to 2 national championship games, playoff 3 straight years. I'm like, he's got to be among one of the greatest prospects I've seen. And I know people are going to say, well, what about Andrew Luck in 2012? I wasn't alive for John Elway. I wasn't even alive for when Peyton Manning. I was a few months after, though. But I know how well those prospects were from history that I've read and stuff like that. But of my lifetime, people want to argue Andrew Luck, that's fine. I'm not going to dispute anybody that says that. For me, though, I didn't watch a lot of college football when Andrew Luck was there because I was growing up a little bit, just kind of slowly learning. I wasn't into college that much. I heard a little bit about some teams back in those days, but I watched Trevor Lawrence a lot. When I got to college football, I want to say 2015-ish, 2015, 2014, maybe. So that's why I didn't watch Andrew Luck that much. I've heard about him, but I didn't watch Andrew Luck. I watched Trevor Lawrence. Finally, looks like the guy that we all expected him to be with that first overall pick 5 years ago, feels like. Finally arrived on the scene. And he made some throws. Parker Washington had a monster game as a receiver that, again, Brian Thomas hasn't quite been the guy that they thought drafting him number 1 receiver last year. Jacoby Myers, they got that guy that can make tough catches over the middle. That's what he does, okay? Then you get Travis Hunter gone for the year. He steps in, Parker Washington, and he had one of the best games against the Denver secondary that I think is pretty good. And give him credit. He really had an awesome game. I want to make sure I got it right. 6 for 143, 145, and a touchdown. My, oh my. I mean, that Jacksonville offense, Liam Cohen is doing a hell of a job up in Jacksonville. And I don't know why they took it as disrespect for Sean Payton saying they're a small market team, but they're really good. I guess the small market part kind of insulted them, but like still, that's a compliment. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here? But Trevor Lawrence, 23-36, 279, 3 touchdowns. If there's one player that needs a spotlight this week, it's him. He did it against a very good defense. And now, because of that, Denver's winning streak snaps. And guess what? They're tied with yours truly, the New England Patriots, for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Thank you, Trevor Lawrence. But now, I will say this honestly. I might have to take back some comments about not being so scared of Jacksonville. I might be wrong, guys. I'm going to admit, I'm probably wrong on that because they look really, really good lately. They look really, really impressive. Give kudos to Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen. They look really good. Their running game didn't do great, but in large part, their franchise quarterback made some plays, and good for him. That defense, Jerry Jones, he got his pick. They got 1 sack on Bo Nix. So let's transition to Denver real quick. Are we that certain Bo Nix is a franchise level quarterback, the best in his own class? Are we sure about that? Aqib Talib, TJ Ward, among others. Are we that certain Bo Nix is that much better than Drake Maye after yesterday's performance? Nope. Bo Nix is good, guys. But he's not franchise level changing quarterback. He's not. He's very good. He's a more mobile Alex Smith is what he is. He could throw a better deep ball than Alex Smith could, I'll be honest. But he's not franchise changing level quarterback. He's not. He'll get the job done, but he doesn't strike fear when you have the ball in a game where you need him to go win a drive. And he did it against Kansas City. I know he did it against Kansas City back in week 11. I know. But I'm saying for the general consensus of teams, you need a guy to have a drive. You're taking some names over Bo Nix. You are. You're taking the likes of Lamar. You're taking Josh Allen. You're taking Mahomes. You're taking Burrow when healthy. Jalen Hurts depends on the situation. But Jaden Daniels, I would say, was more clutch last season than Bo Nix. And then there's other names too that I would throw in there. Matthew Stafford. I would even throw, back when he was cooking early, I would throw Baker Mayfield a little more clutch than Bo Nix, especially early in the season. I would throw in, actually, no, I haven't seen him do it as much, but again, he's got to go prove it in a clutch situation. I can't say Justin Herbert yet. CJ Stroud I've seen in moments where he's been able to do it. Not as much recently the last 2 years, but I remember that rookie year, that one throw against Tampa, that was big. Kind of leaning him a little bit. Obviously, prime Aaron Rodgers, I would say, because we've seen him do it time and time again. But again, Drake Maye, even last night, I've seen Drake Maye do it a couple times. He made a couple clutch drives where he had to make some stuff happen. I don't think Bo Nix is a guy that you strikes fear and you going, yeah, we can't give him the ball last. We can't. I don't see that. And I know he had an okay game, but I don't think he wowed anybody. I think the big reason for Denver winning is that defense is playing well. Sean Payton puts him in great situations where he can get Cortland Sutton, he can get Troy Franklin, he can get Pat Bryant open, he can get Ingram over the middle, and that running game, R.J. Harvey, Dobbins before he got hurt. I don't think Bo Nix is the big reason why they're winning. And he's made some throws. We'll give him that. But yesterday, the pick flipped that game, and that was pretty much, he had a lost fumble. Like, he just gives me vibes of Mac Jones and Alex Smith a little bit as far as his accuracy is concerned. And the fact that he's mostly a check down merchant. He will throw deep a little more than those guys have. But I don't think he's a guy that I feel like if you're scared of quarterbacks in the AFC, well, Josh Allen's one. And then, Drake Maye looked really good last night. Justin Herbert's got upside. So no Lamar. So, Aaron Rodgers is kind of, on the downside. But Pittsburgh has been playing good lately. Albeit it was against... Well, no, Baltimore was big, and Detroit was big, and then Miami, which sucks. Trevor Lawrence has a playoff win on his resume. So I look at the AFC as a grand scheme of things. I don't think you're too quite worried about him being the guy that everybody is scared of. I don't think he is. I think he's toward the back half, bottom of the AFC in that regard. But that defense, I don't think will play that bad again, but it shows... Even for them, they are a really good defense, but had an off night. And that's where I lean with Denver. They'll be fine. They got to win out now to get the 1 seed. I think in all likelihood they will get it. But thank you, Jacksonville, for Denver losing. And now we're going to transition to my New England Patriots. And I'll go over Steelers lines briefly because I want to get to the college football playoff breakdowns of A&M, Miami, and Alabama, Oklahoma. And then I want to get to the picks quickly. I don't want to hold you guys up too long. But I'm making a lot of ground because we are not going to have another show this week. We're going to have it next Monday. Let's go to my New England Patriots, shall we? Super Maye came to save the day last night. 11-point fourth quarter comeback. 12 minutes to go. This game feels like it's slipping away. And then he throws the chef's kiss to Kyle Williams deep down the right sideline. On the money to the rookie third-round pick, Kyle Williams. And then he made some throws. Stephon Diggs. This is why they got Stephon Diggs. For prime time games, under the bright light moments, these kinds of games. That's why they get Stephon Diggs. Bills game, he did it in Buffalo against his old team. In Baltimore, made some key plays over the middle, made the tough catches. He made the plays and stepped up when he had to. And I know people were like, well, he made some comments that, oh, it's okay, to lose a game. What did I say on Lounge Time? And Chris Collinsworth said it on the broadcast last night. What did he say that I said on Lounge Time last week? I said, the New England Patriots, this loss might be a good thing for them because they realize you can't jump out ahead early and expect to win all those games like that. Sometimes there's going to be a game where it's rough for a half, it's rough for three quarters, but it's about how do you respond to adversity. And this team, with Mike Vrabel and company, where they looked like they could not stop the run, and the Ravens are going to run the ball down our throats that night. Derrick Henry was going wild. When it looked that bad, this team, beat down, tired, worn out, got back up and said, we got heart. We got fight. We ain't going down to those 3 zeros on that clock. And they fought back. They fought back. And Super Maye made them throws when he had to. Drake Maye made them throws when he had to. And the New England Patriots are going to the playoffs. New England, stand up. New England, stand up. New England, stand up. Yeah, we here. Playoff bound, baby. That's right. 12-3. Still undefeated on the road. And still alive for the 1 seed. And getting closer to being the NFC East champs in year 1 under Mike Vrabel. In year 1. And this team, guys, Milton Williams, his absence is clearly missed. We cannot dispute that. Even Robert Spillane, too. Starting middle linebacker. They missed both of those guys last night. Especially against Buffalo last week. We can't dispute that. All I need this team to do is take control of its own path. Meaning, worry about the games that are in front of you. If you get the 1 seed, that's a bonus. That's great. We can still win the AFC East. Just win out. Just win one game at a time. Worry about the Jets. Beat them. Okay? Buffalo's got a tough one with Philly. If they lose, great. That's great for us. Just worry about your damn business. And that's what this team does. That's what Mike Vrabel's preaching to those guys. And he said it at postgame. I want you guys to realize your potential because this team right now, I'm looking at the AFC as a grand scheme of things. And I told you guys for weeks, Bills, Texans, Broncos, and now I'm adding Jacksonville in there. They look scary. Everybody else, not so much. I'm not sold on the Chargers quite yet. I'm not there with the Steelers, even though they've won 3 in a row. Not there. Nope. I will say, you're going to have to win some games in the AFC against really good teams. Can this team make that jump? Well, winning in Baltimore, winning in Buffalo, and winning in Tampa early before they fell off, those are great wins. It's hard to win games on the road in the National Football League. It's very hard to go undefeated on the road. It's very hard to do that. And this team, what they've done in year 1 under Mike Vrabel, we have to give him major kudos to what he's done. And this is why, guys, I didn't talk about this hire, I think, last year. I knew when we hired Mike Vrabel, I was like, oh, yeah. The right move, the right team. There was a sense of pride when he came back to New England where you knew he wanted to be back home because it was the franchise he helped build. The dynasty standard that he once helped build, set, now he's in charge of it. There's a sense of pride that he takes in being the head man of this football team. And I'm glad. I am thankful that this guy is now the Patriots coach. And honestly, my big concern going into this year was, how is he going to help Drake Maye grow from year 1 to year 2 with this offense? How are they going to surround him? Well, they went and got Will Campbell 4th overall. We just need him back healthy for the playoffs. Vidarian Lowe, you are shit. Don't forget that, okay? You were not good last night. You got beat so bad. We need that man Will Campbell back, okay? We were down to 3rd-string tackles. And this kid, Drake Maye, he made some great throws under pressure. Calm as ever. And honestly, the fact he was making it while calm, pressure, closing in, this is a really good sign. Because the New England Patriots now, they are very, very close to getting 2 home playoff games. Could be 3 if Denver loses potentially in the divisional round as a 1 seed and New England were to host 3 home playoff games. If they got the 2 seed, hypothetically, which could still happen. But we need to give Josh McDaniels a lot of credit too. He has cemented himself as one of the best offensive coordinators in the National Football League, if not the best offensive coordinator in the league. And this New England defense, listen, they are much better when healthy. Gonzo is your number 1 corner. I want to see him play a little bit more aggressive man coverage because I think when he plays aggressive man coverage, that guy is phenomenal. He is phenomenal, okay? They played him off a little bit on Zay Flowers, and I think they were respecting Zay Flowers' speed, who he had a game against us, which I was not happy, okay? And I was like, somebody's got to deal something with him because he's going to wreck the game. But that's why Gonzo should get a lucrative deal very, very soon in the next 1.5 to 2 years. Maybe even next offseason to the Ravens. Okay. I'm going to be honest. I think this team is emotionally done. This team, to me, just, they're going wrong place, wrong time. And this roster, which people had as the best roster in football going into this season, all the moves they made were saying, we are going to position ourselves to be in the Super Bowl and get us to that point. The fact now that you are 1 more loss away from being mathematically eliminated tells me there's going to be some big major changes coming their way. And Lamar Jackson, before he got hurt, he didn't really look like the MVP Lamar that a lot of people have been accustomed to seeing within the last 6 years. Even last year when he was second in MVP voting to Josh Allen, he did not look like the guy that everybody thought debatably was the best quarterback in football. Tyler Huntley, though, he was like a pest. He kept scrambling. He kept making some throws where I'm like, wow, like we can't get this guy to get 1 turnover on us. Like we can't get 1 turnover from him. And Derrick Henry, again, I don't know why you take him out. Which, by the way, thank you, John Harbaugh, for taking him out because we got to the playoffs because of that. I don't understand why you take him out in that moment. I don't understand why. I've been saying it for years on this show. John Harbaugh's analytics decisions have cost him in games, and now it's coaching decisions that are coming back to bite them. I mean, that Bills game was the start of this. I mean, early in the year, the troubles were bad, and now you're losing. This team, guys, was 6-5. They lost to the Bengals. They lost to the Steelers. And now the Patriots. This team losing 3 or 4, this is a bad sign. And I knew the schedule. I was like, I have to take this back. I mean, this is bad. They are just, to me, guys, they're just not a very good football team. But not a very good sign for the Baltimore Ravens, where there are going to be massive changes. Not just probably their roster. There might be a change at the head man next season because something has to change for this team. Not going to get too much into Steelers lines because I kind of, like I said, I expected that the Lions would be out of the playoffs. The Steelers are playing good football, and I never thought Kenneth Gainwell would go off. But because of that win and the Ravens losing. The Steelers just need one win now to clinch the AFC North, and in all likelihood, I think it's going to happen. So, all right, now let's get to the brief college football playoff recaps where, honestly, I'm not even going to do notes for this. I'm going to go based on my eye test that I've watched. Oklahoma proved that they were frauds. The fact that John Mateer, who looked very good for about a quarter and a half, I don't know what the hell you're doing skip passes where you're lifting your feet off the ground and you're doing like these little skip passes where you're jumping like midair. Like, what the fuck are you doing, John Mateer? Like, what? What are you doing? Like, play your foot, throw the ball. But he's got like a weird like way he throws it too. Like the jump pass, I'm like, John Mateer, what are you doing? Like, what? Like, no. I mean, he made some throws where I'm like, there's a receiver open. You just got to hit him. And he underthrew a couple of them. I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? And then when that defense started to get shredded on that 4th and 3 from inside their 8-yard line, meaning Bama going in Oklahoma's red zone at the Oklahoma 8, when I believe it was, hold on a second, I don't think it was Jeremy Bernard. Okay, let me make sure I get this right, because there was a lot of receivers that I know Bama's had over the years. Let me just make sure I have it right. Brooks. Yep, it was Brooks. I'm sorry. Ladzier Brooks. Yeah. Okay. When he broke those 3 tackles for the first score, I'm like, okay. I'm like, Bama's going to make it at least a little bit respectable. And then that pick Mateer threw, which was clearly miscommunication. That pick to Sabian Brown, I'm like, they're going to go back to being the Oklahoma that everybody knew that they were. A defense that was, for the most part, carrying that team, that was mostly really good at times, and was basically their calling card, and their offense can't score. And what do you know? They score 7 points all of in the second half. And Alabama outscores them 17-7. Ty Simpson, he played like the guy a lot of people saw in the games Alabama won. And I still don't think he's like insanely generational. I think he could be a solid quarterback if he has time. But when he doesn't have time, he doesn't look that great. And if you speed his anticipation process, that's where I think he doesn't play well. And Oklahoma, they really didn't get much of a rush on him in that second half because it felt like he had everything he wanted. I mean, 4 sacks. I mean, it looked like Oklahoma's defense dominated, and then they really couldn't do much after that. Like, they got exposed. And I still don't think Alabama's very good. I think they beat an overrated Oklahoma team. And I think that, again, John Mateer, he really fell off bad. And I think this Oklahoma team, they got to answer some serious questions because I don't want to say they're a blue blood program, but you guys kind of get what I'm saying. They're like a history-laden program that has been great for years, and they blow a 17-0 lead on Alabama, in which they get outscored 34-7 the rest of the way. That's unacceptable. Brent Venables, he's a very good defensive coordinator, but now that you gave him that huge extension, you got to answer some major, major questions offensively as to how you're going to score in the SEC. We have no doubt defensively he'll be fine, but that offense has been atrocious, and they really need to figure out how they're going to answer those questions transfer portal-wise. But Alabama, now they play Indiana, which I hope Indiana beats the crap out of those Bama bandwagons. Fuck Alabama. I'm sorry I'm cursing, guys. I know it's the holidays. I just can't stand Alabama. All right, I hope they beat Alabama. I really do. All right, Miami A&M. Not much to talk about because this game was a defensive slugfest, but Malachi Toney made the huge jet sweep run to score Miami's defense. Reuben Bain Jr., ladies and gentlemen, this guy cemented himself as a top 5 pick. Whoever needs an edge rusher in the top 5, take that man. He is phenomenal. 3 sacks, and I want to make sure my stat sheet does not lie to me. This dude, oh my God. Let me make sure my stat sheet does not lie to me. It's not. Okay, good. My stat sheet's not lying to me. This dude, Reuben Bain Jr., holy smokes. Remember when A&M's offensive lineman was like talking about how they weren't scared to go up against him, and Reuben Bain had his receipt? Yeah. After the game, he had the picture of the A&M lineman that said that they've dealt with guys like him or something like that, or they weren't scared to face him, and that he's not really somebody that gives them problems. Yeah, well, that did not age well. Reuben Bain took that personally, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I whoop your ass every snap I'm on that field. And that's exactly what Reuben Bain Jr. did. That dude cemented himself as a top 5 pick in this year's draft. Remember, I said this. Phenomenal edge rusher. He's probably the best edge rusher in this class. And I know there's guys like TJ Parker. I know there's guys like Cassius Howell that's really good. And I know I'm probably missing one other really, really good name. And I'm going to pull it up real fast because I bet you that's what I'm probably doing. Because I'm not really going to go solely by numbers for this. But I want to make sure that I have the options here. Let me see if I have it. Here we go. Because I know there's one more prospect. I don't think it was LT Overton. I believe it was, and I want to make sure I'm right on this. But I don't think it was Arvell Reese. I don't think it was him. Let me see. Here we go. Let me make sure, because the edge rushers, guys, David Bailey. That might have been it. This dude, Keldrick Falk, I forgot about him, from Auburn. Yeah. This guy cemented himself as a top 5 pick in this draft. If Reuben Bain's not in the top 5, I would be stunned. It has to be all teams that don't need edge rushers immediately. But long way away. Carson Beck, I don't think wowed me that much. So I don't think he's really a guy that can get you far. Tony, though, Malachi Tony, that wide receiver, too bad he's not going in the same draft class as Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams. Because if he was, with Cam Coleman from Auburn, holy smokes, anybody that needs wide receivers, just wait till 2026. But no, Malachi Tony's 2027 because he's a freshman this year. But he has made time in and time out the big plays Miami needs. And that dude, get ready to pencil him as a preseason All-American next year. He's going to be one. That dude is absolutely phenomenal, and he is lightning when the ball's in his hands. That dude is amazing, okay? Watch out for this dude the next 2 years in college football. This guy is going to be awesome. I don't think he's going to go off against Ohio State, but if he does against that really, really good secondary, that defense, woo, Jeremiah Smith, you are going to have some competition for that Biletnikoff Award next season. I'll tell you that. But anyway, Marcel Reed from A&M. Young man, you had a good season. But when you played the big boys lately, the last 3 games, and I know South Carolina and Texas are considered big boys, although Texas is still considered a big boy despite their down season. But that first half against South Carolina was the start of him trending down very, very bad. And the Miami game was a glimpse of that. I only saw him throw one play downfield in that game where I'm like, really? Like, let him try to make plays. And he really didn't make plays when A&M needed him to. And I just feel like this guy, he's a good scrambling quarterback. He's got upside of an arm, but a lot of their throws were like east and west on the sideline and like very small check down routes. I'm like, they won't even let him throw the ball downfield. There's not even creativeness in their offense. I'm like, what are you doing? He played absolutely horrible in this game, and I'm sorry, guys. I think A&M got exposed for playing a bottom half SEC schedule, not playing many tough teams, and honestly, I think they got exposed. They got exposed for a team that maybe isn't that good. And you know what I want to say to all these fucking people that say, oh, the SEC could dominate anybody, in another conference. The bottom half could dominate. Oklahoma and A&M did not put on good showings. They did not. And I think that needs to be quieted big time. Because no, they would not. Because A&M did not look good. Oklahoma did not look really good. Stop saying these bottom half, middle tier SEC teams can dominate any other conference. No, they cannot. No, they cannot. This is the ESPN propaganda of the SEC bias. Stop. They would not dominate another conference. They would not. Because look at what they did this past weekend. Not impressive at all from those two teams. The biggest disappointment and losers of that weekend, besides the G5, which I will be a man of admit, I want to give one G5 team a chance. But two, that's where I'm like, all right, we got to draw the line. They were not that great. All right, let's get to the Week 17 picks because you guys are probably tired of hearing me ramble. So we're going to make this really lightning fast. Starting with Thursday, Christmas Day games. Cowboys travel at Washington to take on the Commanders, where the over and unders at 50.5. The Cowboys are 6.5 point favorites on the road. Give me Dallas 30-20. I think the Cowboys light up the Commanders. I think that Dak Prescott's still playing. They still got Pickens. They still got Lamb playing. If the starters play, Dallas wins. I like them 30-20 on Washington. Lions travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings, where the Lions are 6 point favorites. The over and under is at 44.5 points. Okay, now J.J. McCarthy is playing lights out, really good football. The Lions haven't won really lately. You kind of wonder, are they just done? Are they giving up on the year? And they lost in Detroit to the Vikings. I like the Vikings. Give me the 6 points. You know what? Yeah, give me the 6 points with the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to win outright. They are going to beat the Detroit Lions, and they're going to sweep them and eliminate the Lions from playoff contention. Give me the Vikings. What was it, 27-24 last time? Give me the Vikings 27-22. I think it'll be a weird score. The Minnesota Vikings are going to upset the Detroit Lions. Guarantee. Give me the Vikings. Broncos travel to Arrowhead to take on the Chiefs, where the Broncos are 12.5 point favorites. The over-unders at 36.5 points. Yeah, okay. Thought it looked like an 8. Please. Minshew's now out. Say less. Denver smokes them. I'm going to say 30-3. You got a third-string quarterback. If you get shut out, it wouldn't surprise me. 30-3 Broncos on the Chiefs, not even wasting any more time on this game. All right, Saturday's action, we got a doubleheader. The Texans travel to LA to take on the Chargers, where the Chargers are 2.5 point favorites. The over and under is at 39.5 points. Oof. This is a tough one. Because rooting interest-wise, I low-key need the Texans to win. Because if the Texans win, the Chargers move down in the AFC playoff standings, and I kind of want the Chargers, if they did lose to Denver, to be the 7th seed, where I'm like, okay, I like our matchup. If the Texans lose, though, I'm like, no, because then they're going to be the 7th seed, because I don't think Buffalo's losing the game. Now, if they lose to the Eagles, they still would be ahead of the Texans. So, I'm going to bank on the fact that I don't think the Bills lose. I'm taking the Texans 2.5. I like them to win the game outright. I don't think the Chargers are what people think. And especially Danny Parkins glazing Justin Herbert. Relax, buddy. Like, bro, like, you're a Bears fan, and I get you're happy with Caleb Williams doing well, but take it easy on the glazing of Justin Herbert. The dude has not won a playoff game yet. Like, you know what he's going to be. Relax. Give me the Texans. The defense is red hot. I think they get after Justin Herbert. Both tackles banged up. I know Jim Harbaugh's a hell of a coach. This Texan defense, red hot. Give me the Texans 20-13 on the Chargers. And yes, we're going to do a Charles Barkley guarantee. Guarantee the Houston Texans beat the LA Chargers. Back to the other game on the Saturday night. The Baltimore Ravens travel to Green Bay to take on the Packers, where at the moment the Packers are 2.5 point favorites. The over and under is at 40.5 points. Now, we don't know if Lamar or Jordan Love are going to play right now. From what Vegas is saying, Jordan Love might play, might play if he can clear concussion protocol. I kind of like Green Bay regardless. I know Green Bay has not looked great. Baltimore, though, trending in a bad direction, and I think Lamar Jackson not looking right. I think the Ravens, something's off. Green Bay, coming off a tough loss. I think the Pack can get it done. I think this is another low-scoring game. Give me 23-17. Packers beat the Baltimore Ravens. I like them to win that game. I'm not going to Charles Barkley guarantee this one. All right, Sunday's action. Seattle travels to Carolina to take on the Panthers, where the Seahawks are 7.5-point favorites. The over-and-under's at 42.5 points. All right, watch. Carolina Classic. Look great against Bucks, and then they're going to falter back down. Seattle really looks good. I think they are going to... This might be a game where I would lean Carolina plus the 7.5. I'm not saying they're going to win, but 8 on the road is a lot. I'm going to take Carolina plus 7.5, but I'm going to take Seattle to win. And because Gino Averro is a very good defensive coordinator from Carolina, I think Seattle's going to get, I'm going to say 24. I'm going to say 24-20. Seattle. I think that's what's going to happen. All right, now we get to a bunch of games that honestly are going to be quick picks. The Arizona Cardinals travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, where the Bengals are 7-point favorites. The over and under is at 53.5 points. All right, take the over. I like this. And give me the Bengals. I'm going to say they like 38 points, and Arizona's going to get 28. High-scoring shootout. Bengals 38-28. Don't care. Steelers travel to Cleveland to take on the Browns, where the Steelers are 3.5-point favorites, rather, and the over and under is at 34.5 points. Mike Tomlin to win the playoffs. Get to 10 wins. Likely 11 if they do win. Give me Pittsburgh to win. I'm going to go 27-16. Steelers beat the Browns in Cleveland. The New England Patriots travel to MetLife Stadium to take on the Jets, where New England is 13.5-point favorites on the road. The over and under is at 42.5 points. I know Mike Vrabel wants to just focus on finding ways to win, which, of course, absolutely, and teaching this team how to win. Can we please get a Drake Maye stat pad game, please? Please let Drake Maye stat pad. Please, Miami just benched Quinn Ewers. Like, can we stat pad Drake Maye? You're still going to need it for the 1 seed. So, give me New England to win. I'm going to say they put 27 up right in Foxborough. It's in Jets, though, so I'm going to say, can we get 30-13 New England? Can we get it to within that 13.5? I think so. 30-13 Patriots beat the Jets. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins, where the Bucs are 5.5-point favorites. The over and under is at 46.5 points. Okay, well, Miami's defense, not very good, clearly. And Quinn Ewers, awful. Tampa, though, going in the wrong direction. I want to take Miami with the 5.5, but I can't do it. And I almost did. Shame on me. Tampa Bay should win this game 27-10. 27-10 Bucs beat Miami Dolphins. All right, crap games. Here we go. This is where we breeze through. The New Orleans Saints travel to Tennessee to take on the Titans, where the Saints are 2.5-point favorites on the road. The over and under is at 39.5 points. Give me New Orleans. Tyler Shaw's playing well. They look like they may have a guy. And New Orleans, they look really good. Give me the Saints in a low-scoring contest. Let's go 22-16. Saints win in Tennessee. Jacksonville travels to Indianapolis to take on the Colts, where the Jaguars are 7-point favorites. The over and under is at 46.5 points. Okay. Big emotional win in Denver. They're riding high. Colts, though, we're going to see tonight. I don't think they're going to be all that impressive. I am going to go with the Jaguars to win. And this one, I think I'm going to hang with the 7 with the Colts. I think the Jaguars win. Let's go 27. Phillip Rivers might score too. 27-23. Jaguars hang around and beat the Colts. Tank Bowl. Giants travel to Vegas to take on the Raiders, where the Giants are 1.5-point underdogs in Vegas. The over and under is at 41.5 points. Okay. The Raiders are bad. The Giants clearly are tanking. Don't give a shit who wins. But I'm going with the Giants to win because I do think they have a chance to win this game. I'm going to say this is 16-10 Giants win over the Raiders. Eagles travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills, where the Bills are 2.5-point favorites. The over and under is at 43.5 points. I am calling a truce on the Eagles fans to please beat the Bills and give the Patriots the AFC East. Please, please, please. I need this team to show that the Bills are so vulnerable, but I don't trust the Eagles because their offense is bad. But they can stop the run on Buffalo, which is going to be the key. Give me the Bills, though, painfully. I'm going to be non-biased. I'm taking the Bills to win 24-17 on the Eagles. I don't trust that the Eagles could score, but I do think the Eagles defense will give Josh Allen some trouble thanks to Vic Fangio. But I'm going with the Bills 24-17. All right, the nightcap game of Sunday night. The Bears travel to San Francisco to take on the Niners, where the Niners are 3-point favorites. The over and under is at 50.5 points. I kind of like the Niners to win, but I don't know if I want the over in this one. I'm going to take the Niners to win. We're going to go with a weird one here. This is going to be 26-17. Niners beat the Bears. I think they win. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey. I was going to say CMC. I think the Niners are playing really good football. I think Robert Saile is going to have a game plan for Caleb Williams. I like the Niners on the short week. They win 26-17. Monday night, the LA Rams travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, where the Rams are 7.5-point favorites. The over and under is at 49.5 points. Give me the Rams. Kirk Cousins, not very good. I like the Rams to win this game, although if the Rams stink it up, Drake May can win MVP. Just saying, I doubt they will, though. I am going with the Rams to win 34-23. Rams beat the Falcons on Monday night, and those are my Week 17 NFL picks, rather. Those are my Week 17 NFL picks, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so that way you guys can get all the latest content coming up for the playoff run is ahead. We finally get to talk the brackets. We get to talk Super Bowl contenders. We get to talk about who can make a deep run and who might not be as good as people think. You can also follow me on Rumble, guys. We're trying to build a new community over there. Give my channel a follow on Rumble so that way you guys can also get some episodes there. We have episodes on YouTube and Rumble. We can do it if you guys subscribe, follow. Please, it helps grow the channel. We can't do it without you guys as well. You can also follow me at LoungeTimePod on X, where, yes, if you send me a tweet for something to talk about on Lounge Time, I'll give you a shout out and I'll answer your question if you got it. Give me something that I can work with. I promise I'll answer. I will give you a shout out. Don't worry. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys next Monday, where we will have NFL Week 17 analysis, and we will preview the college football quarterfinal matchups of the college football playoff. Until then, I hope you guys all have a wonderful, happy holidays, and I hope you guys enjoy your weekend and have a great time with your families. Until then, I will see you guys next Monday, where we break down college football playoff quarterfinal matchups and NFL Week 17. Have a great holiday weekend, everybody, and hope you have a Merry Christmas to those that celebrate Christmas. And a Happy Hanukkah to those as well. Have a great, great holiday weekend, everybody.